Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about fiction. But before we proceed to our discussion, let us first have a review of our previous lesson about poetry. So, poetry is, of course, its structure and forms. Okay, so we know that a poem has lines, has stanzas, it has meter, beat, rhythm, rhyming pattern. Just like, for example, uh, the Shakespearean sonnet, no? So it is composed of three quatrains, no? Three quatrains and rhyming, concluding couplet. Okay, so it is composed of 14 lines. And we have also the narrative poetry, no? So we have the ballad. Okay, so it is a story of ordinary people. Okay, we also have the descriptive poetry. uh, Okay, and of course, no. So if we do not want to stress ourselves of thinking about the rhyming words that we're going to put, okay, so we can also make use of the free verse poetry. So when we say free verse poetry, so it is not required to put regular rhyming pattern, a beat, meter. Okay, so it has no uh, regular uh, or proper rhythmical process. Okay, so unlike the lyric, the narrative, and the descriptive poetry. Okay, so now let us proceed to fiction, because you have already actually composed your own free verse poetry and your haiku. No? Okay, so let us now discuss what is fiction. Fiction is a manipulated narrative prose which is not presented as objectively as possible. It is therefore unrealistic. Thus, readers are transported to make believe world. It resembles the world of readers and assume to see real life characteristics that play roles in situations and places almost similar to circumstances and environment. So fiction is categorized either short stories, novels. So we also have the legends, the myths. Okay, we have the fiction actually. No, so first and foremost, basically we have the fiction and the non-fiction. No? Okay, but then of course. Um, uh, for example, in because we are talking about fiction, no, uh, for example, stories in the Bible, no, so there are stories in the Bible that are really real, no, so based on the reality, but there are also fiction, no, like just the parable, no, just like the fables, no, yun. So we have stories that gives us messages, no, or conveys lessons, morals, no, to us. Okay, so it helps us be guided, no, in our daily lives, how to go about with ourselves, dealing with other people. So how do we improve our attitude? Okay, and of course try strive to become a virtuous person, so through our um, experiences, no, through our immersion, no, in the fiction. Okay, so it may be fiction, maybe maybe its purpose is first and foremost is to entertain, no, it may be entertaining, but it is also educative, no? So, it can give us a lot of information, it can give us actually a meaning, no, to our lives because we can relate with the stories in fiction, no? We can see ourselves in the characters. Okay, so now let us proceed to the next slide. Okay, so we now deal with the elements of fiction. So first is the setting. So we know that we have to apply uh, the local color, in the setting, the time, the place, the events of the story. So we do not just say it. Uh, it's 7 o'clock. It's uh, we have to use words, that are uh, colorful, so sometimes we call it flowery words, okay. So for example, when I say local color, so we have to consider what is in our place, what is common, what are the things that we see, for example, here in Masbate, so we are called the cattle country. Okay, so that is a famous word. So, but now we are also known as the rodeo, province. Okay, so that's the center, of rodeo. Okay, so we have to put that or to include that, in our description, in our introduction of the setting. Okay, and then of course we have the characters. Characters, of course, are the representations of human being in a story. They're the complex combination of both inner and outer self. So usually, when we say inner self, so it is usually placed at the narration part, so we narrate what is the thoughts, what is in the heart of the character, okay. So when we say outer self, so we see how the character blends with other people or deals with a significant characters also in the story, how he deals with the problems, in the story, okay, presented in the situations presented in the story, okay. Yes, and then the characterization, is the method used by the writer to reveal the personality of the characters. So there are different ways of revealing literary characters. So the action of the characters, as I have said, so how he deals with other people, how he talks, okay. So is he humble? What is his attitude? What are the thoughts of the character? Not what is always in his mind, what are his or her priorities, okay. So what is his preference, okay. So it is described, by the author, and sometimes the author used the other characters in order to uh, give emphasis to the attitude, of this particular hero or heroine of the story. And then, of course, we know about kinds of character according to Principality. We have the protagonist and the antagonist. According to development, we have this dynamic and static development. So, static, of course, does not change, okay, from beginning to end. And we have, according to personality, we have this rounded character or round character, and we have this flat character. So when I say round character, it displays multiple personalities throughout the stories. Sometimes this person um, will show himself as a kind person, but at other times there are also circumstances that provoke his anger. Okay, than the flat character. So usually it does not change. So the story, I mean the character, stays. His attitude remains the same. It doesn't show anything. Um, that that we can say that this person is a bipolar, for example. So he displays the same characterization all throughout the story. Okay, next is the plot. Of course, it is the sequence of events, So, but there is a plot that we call linear, which moves with the natural sequence of the story. So, from beginning to end. So, there is no interruption here. Unlike the circular plot, So there is an interruption in the chronological order of the story. So sometimes the writer goes back, to the past of this character. So, for example, a character suddenly remembers, as triggered by a particular memory of the past. Okay, and then en medias res. So in the middle of the story, uh, the story starts, in the middle actually of the story already. So and then it will go back, after uh, a while. The writer will narrate, or will relate the story. Okay, so what happened, why does this particular event happen, what was the reason that this significant event happened. Okay, so collectively the three types of plot are otherwise termed as closed plots because they normally follow the pyramid pattern of development. So the four-sided plots form the skeletal pattern of closed plots. Okay, and then we have the parts of a plot. So we already know this, no? This is the introduction, part, the exposition, in which the scene, is introduced, the situation, the setting. So what is the environment, what are the characteristics of the hero, usually it is the hero of the story, that is being introduced first. Then of course, what is the potential, the basic assumptions, the purposes, limitations. So it is already included in the exposition part. So the next is complication. So the complication, of course, provides the major conflict of the story. And then the crisis, the part that establishes curiosity, uncertainty, and tension. So in this part, okay, the character, especially the hero, or the main character, uh, is given a dilemma in which he or she tries to resolve and decide. And then the climax of the story, it is the peak of the story which leads an affirmation. And then the decision is already given, no? An action, no? And then a realization. So this is the greatest emotional investment, that interest the the readers, no? Okay. Next, we have the denouement. Okay, so it is the finishing of things after the climax. No, so the falling action, and that leads to the resolution of the story, whatever problem they had, the conflict, no, so that they have encountered, then it is being resolved here in the denouement. And the last is the ending part. So it is the conclusion. No? So it is where we can see usually, the happy part, the happy part in which we can smile, because there is already, the resolution. The problem is already given a solution, and then uh, everyone is happy, so including us. Okay, then we have the literary devices. So we use the flashback. So it is the um, time when we interrupt the story, and then we go back to the event, that happened before, that triggers the memory of the main character or any of the other characters in the story. The foreshadowing, it is the writer's use of hints or clues to indicate events that will occur later in the story. So it is the opposite of the flashback. So in foreshadowing, it is just giving a vision, having a vision of what is going to happen, in the future. Okay. And then the conflict as part of the plot is the opposition of persons or forces in a story that give rise to the dramatic action in literary work. It is a basic tension, predicament, or challenge that propels a story's plot. Okay, so it is a challenge to the hero usually. Okay, so the conflict is sometimes internal, no? And sometimes it is external conflict. No? So when we say internal conflict, so you deal with yourself. No? So it is the conflict with oneself. Okay, so uh, person versus person type of conflict. This is a type where one character in the story has a problem with one or more of the other characters. Okay, so person versus person. So we call this the protagonist versus the antagonist. No? And then we have the person versus the society. No? So the person is against a group of people. No? Is against, for example, the government. No? Okay, and then what I have just said, person versus self. So you have a conflict with your own self. And then person versus nature. So the conflict is happening here with the calamities, for example, that happen that trigger the problem of the uh, hero, or heroine in the story. Okay. Then person versus fate. Okay. This is a type of conflict where a character has to battle what seems to be uncontrollable problem. No? So whenever the problem seems to be strange or unbelievable coincidence, fate can be considered a cause effect. Okay, so fate. Okay, so uh, it is the person's, for example, uh, conflict trying to overcome. No, so whatever is his or her previous conviction about a particular destiny, for example. No? So uh, you have to change here, no? So your point of view, no, about persons and things, okay? And then we have the point of view, as I've said a while ago, but it is different when I say here in fiction. Point of view here is determines the narrator of the story, the one who tells from a different points of view. Okay, so we have the first person point of view. So the character is also the narrator who tells the story. Okay, so it is the I voice. No? So you are the ones saying or claiming whatever is happening, no, in the story. Okay, and then we have the third person omniscient point of view. Okay, so it is all knowing. That is why it is called omniscient, all knowing, because you see the mind of all the characters, no? You see the mind of all the characters. Okay, so you're just like God, no? Who is omniscient and he sees everyone, whatever it is. So whatever is your attitude, okay, why you're doing that thing, no, the reasons, your motivations, and all your interests. Okay, and then the third person limited point of view. Okay, so the narrator tells only what he can see or hear inside the world of the story. So it is the narrator's part, in saying, so in revealing, so it was just like a camera technique. So the narrator is the witness to whatever is happening. So he reveals the mind of a particular character. And the third person central point of view. So the narrator here limits, to what the central character thinks, feels, does, and what and whom the central characters observes. So it is focused on the central characters of the story. And then the third person editorial point of view. So the narrator is telling the significance, of the behavior of that character. Okay, so it's like the editor, so giving opinion of why, he thinks that person is doing that thing. So what is his motivation or the reason why he is doing that? Okay, and the theme. Okay, so it is a significant truth about life and its nature. It takes place in the illustrations of the actions, preoccupations, and decisions of the characters. Okay, so these are all about fiction. Also, the theme gives us moral of this, the moral of the story, the message that it wants to convey to the audience. So we may have our own stories to tell. We may have witnessed stories that are very significant for us. No, it may also be significant for others. Okay, others can relate to our stories. No, so they can also get a moral or a lesson or a message, no, from our own stories. So let us now begin to write our fiction and show it to the world. Okay, bye.